Dear viewers and listeners, good morning and welcome onto the network of Impact Business Radio, IBR 92.5 FM, and Impact Africa Television, IATV. On this beautiful Tuesday morning, a dry morning it is, and on the program this today is Insight. On this program, we try and provide solutions to some of the problems that have been facing us as a people and as a nation. We try to answer some questions. Where are we coming from? Where are we now? How did we get here? And how can we get out of this situation that we have found ourselves? We have looked at some issues leading us to the fact that Nigeria as a country is built on a faulty foundation. And we tried to, last week, examine how we can get out of this, how can we recreate, how can we rebuild this country called Nigeria. Do we pull down the foundation and build another country? Will it be to thy tents, O Israel, that is going separate ways? Or what are we going to do? From our look at the Constitution, 1999 Constitution as amended, there is no provision, as it were, for something called referendum. All over the world, you find issues related to constitutional matters, policy matters, dealt with through referendum. You look at a place called the United Kingdom, where the issue of Brexit, as it were, came up, and there was a referendum. And in some other places of the world, we have had this issue of referendum. That is to address constitutional issues. Is it a yes or a no to support the views of government, the views of the majority? In Nigeria, we have had something similar to a referendum in 1959 when we were dealing with the Northern Cameroons. And then it was whether they wanted to join Nigeria or to postpone the decision or whatever they wanted to do. But in the final end, 60% of the people voted in 1961 to join the country called Nigeria. Agitations have been going on here and there in this country that we need a referendum. We've had the issue of the Biafra, we've had the issue of Yoruba nation, so many issues in this country, particularly when you look at the problems of the Benue Plateau region and the Fulani settlers. The issue of state police is there. Must we have a referendum on that? And that is the issue we want to examine on the program this morning. Referendum. Referendum. Do we need a referendum in Nigeria? If we do indeed need a referendum in Nigeria, what are the issues that we must address? Said, that is the focus on the program this morning. My name is Adefemi Makpadiran. I have with me as my co-anchor, Anoluwapo Omonide. Anu, good morning.
Thank you so much, Femi. Good morning. So we want to talk about referendum on the program today. There are so many challenges bedeviling this nation. Argument has been put forward that if only we're ready to conduct a referendum, perhaps we'll get to know the mind of the people. But how come the government is not listening? What will this referendum do? What is a referendum? How can it work? As it has worked in other places, can it work in Nigeria? We are joined by two people forming our panelists today. Dikin Olabiola returns to the program. Good morning.
Thank you, Anu.
Thank you so much. And Lateef Aremu is also here. He's a political scientist. Thank you so much, Lateef Aremu.
Good morning, Anu.
All right. Dikin, let's start with you. Referendum. Has it ever happened in Nigeria?
Of course, it has. We've had referendum. I think 2-3 occasions. The Northern Cameroon voted to be part of Nigeria. The Southern Cameroon voted to be excised out of Nigeria. They were part of Nigeria before, right? And even in creating Midwest region that time, we've had referendum before. And I dare say we must have referendum.
It's a must.
We are what they call a heterogeneous country. As a matter of fact, there are people that will tell you there is nothing called country in Nigeria. There was never a country. We have multiple ethnic groups, starting from 1885 and all those things, by conquering them or by signing treaty that came under British rule. These guys were independent on their own before. Even I think it was Saddam also that said the mistake of 1914. So at what point did we sit down to say we want a country? We were forced together.
So if we're going to have a country, Nigerians must come together to have an agreement.
If we have to have a country and there will be peace, there must be terms.
What do we have presently?
How do I discuss this now? What we have is like just a society. Some people just decided that you must obey me, and it's fait accompli. That's what I think political scientists will call it. It's fait accompli. And it doesn't work for long. If you tolerate it, your next generation may not. And that's what is happening. That's what is happening. I've always maintained that when your yesterday is better than your today, your tomorrow is endangered unless you take hold of today. Okay? So unless we all agree that, yeah, there's nothing wrong with even the whole of Africa becoming one, provided we have an agreed terms. And that's the essence of referendum. Asking people, what do you really want? How do you want to be governed?
Okay. Latif, let's look at it this way. The 1999 Constitution, as amended, the way they call it, has made no provision for referendum. Is it that those in leadership position are scared, or some people are scared about a referendum?
Well, I wouldn't say they are scared about referendum, but I would say the prevailing circumstances then forced them into giving us the kind of constitution.
What were these prevailing circumstances? We should know.
The general consensus,
Yes.
as at the time people were putting the 1999 constitution together, was that Nigeria must remain one and the military must go. So what they put together was a kind of a makeshift, if I'm allowed to use that word. And look, let's put something together that will usher us into democracy. Eventually, when we get into democracy, we'll be able to sit down, look at this thing, and come up with something democratic. I intentionally use something democratic because what we have now is not democratic. Why I say that is that let's even leave going our separate ways. Let's leave it aside. Because the Nigerian constitution doesn't have a provision for referendum. Though there is an allusion in chapter 6, section 11 or thereabouts of the Nigerian constitution. There is something that has a semblance of referendum. But the writers of our constitution were clever by half. Similar to what Buhari did with NNPC. Telling people this is what I'm trying to do, but doing something different. So let's leave referendum going around. Let's look at the current structure. On paper, in outlook, Nigeria as a country, because we are not a nation, Nigeria as a country is practicing what we want to call federalism. But in the real sense of federalism, what we are practicing is opposite of federalism. And we can even put that on the Nigerian constitution. So even in the current structure, in the current setting, if we want to practice the current setting, the way it should be practiced, we are not the only country with heterogeneous in nature, just like Deacon has said. We are not the only country in the world where we have different people coming together. Even we have some nations where we believe they are homogeneous, but they don't have so much in common that we want to believe. Even if you go to the UK from outside looks homogeneous. But the people of Scotland will tell you they are different from the people of England. The people of Wales will tell you they are different from the people
And they respect each other's
and they
differences.
respect each other. Even within UK, even within London, East Londoners will tell you we are not the same thing with East London. The people of Newcastle, the Cockneys, will tell you we are not the same with the people of London. But just like Dickens said, there is an agreement. There is a structure that they've all agreed to. Go to the US, we are not as even as that vast.
But Latif, over the years, we've had this thing called constitutional amendment. Why have the people in charge not been able to insert this thing about referendum in whatever amendment they say they've been doing?
Actually, we've not really had any constitutional amendments. What we've
spent money on, is it gallivanting around?
If you want to amend constitution, there are processes to it. There is something we call the Constituent Assembly.
Yes.
The only time we've ever convened a Constituent Assembly was maybe around 2008 or 2009, yes, when Justice Uwais, and that was just an electoral reform. It had a semblance of a Constituent Assembly because that Justice Uwais-led committee went around the country inviting stakeholders to make presentations, but just on electoral matters. I remember on behalf of the Students' Union of my university then in Kano, I made our presentation. They even invited the student body. Look, you are young, but what do you think? What are the things you think we should include in our elections? So part of what we recommended from our side is that people should be able to vote wherever they decide. I, as a student, I have come from Ibadan, register to vote in Ibadan, but election is meeting here in Kano. There should be a provision for me to vote in Kano. I mean, that was the highlight of our own recommendation there. So although we don't know, by the time they were to come up with new electoral laws, most of the things that formed the report of the Wise Committee did not find their ways into the electoral. But why I brought that up is that if you want to have a constitutional amendment, the first thing you do is to have that Constituent Assembly. Don't forget, even in 1976, when Muritala and Obasanjo, when they were about to come up with the 1979 Constitution, which the 1999 Constitution is just a copy and paste, a direct copy and paste of the 1979 Constitution. So when they were to come up with that Constitution, the first thing they did is to put together
a Constituent Assembly.
And that Constituent Assembly worked by going around the country to look for people. Look, what do you want? That's how they were able to come up with the presidential system.
Like the 2014 confab, is it not a semblance of that?
Yes, sir. That was a jamboree. That was just like, I don't know how well to liken it. Maybe Dickie will help me look for a better way to describe it. That was just like me inviting Dickie. That
that's
was just
good.
it.
Let's come back to
Nothing came out of it. That was just it.
When we talked about the issue of constitutional amendment, Dickie Chokwood, you want to explain to us, I know that your impression, asking the other time whether we've had referendum is like begging the question, is like asking a rhetorical question. But just to remind ourselves that we've been here before, we've been there before, can it still happen now? So let's go back to this issue of referendum. Now it happened at that time. People took decision. In 1999, as Femi would ask, I am still looking for the identity of those that drafted the 1999 Constitution. And nobody is coming up with, that is because, though you get to hear of certain names and all that. So you ask yourself, is it that these ones are not proud of what, they did or something? If you are part of something that you can be proud of, why can't their names, be publicized and all that? Now, in 1999, why do you think this thing was avoided? How do you have a constitution without a provision
for
referendum?
I think maybe you are putting me on the spot, because how do you talk of amending what does not exist? So where is the Constitution? What's the meaning of Constitution?
It's documented.
Sorry? By who?
We have it.
Who put it together? Come on, I can sit down here and write. And I'm giving you assurance I can write. And I now impose it on you by gun. I say that's your constitution.
We the people.
Sorry?
We the people.
Yeah, you the people.
That's the.
I don't know. I don't know. He said,
I was
people.
not there.
For God's sake, there has never been any constitution in Nigeria other than Macpherson constitution.
Because he went round.
Because he went round and got the opinions of
the
people. Referendum that you are discussing legitimize policies and decisions of people. You now have a right to say, look, I consulted you. I said I want to do this. It doesn't mean we must agree. But if we have 10 people, and let's say 6 or 7 are saying we are going this direction, it's possible 2, 3 will say no, we are not going. It's possible 2, 3 will say I'm not even interested in discussing anyway. But then, for God's sake, respect my opinion. Ask for my opinion. Where is the constitution you are talking of amending?
You find it difficult that there exists a constitution in Nigeria, and every time, even the government agencies, everybody in government talks about 1999 constitution. We've amended it a couple of times. That's the funny
Amended
thing.
what? You are amending what does not exist? You can't kill a dead man. You understand? You can never kill a dead man. The truth is this. Can we ask ourselves, who are you? Whatever you are discussing must be based on the fact that we have agreed. That doesn't mean there won't be disagreement, even if we are homogeneous. Within Ibadan, now I'm not even saying within Yoruba. I've had people say, don't marry from this side of Ibadan. Because they are stigmatized somehow on one thing or the other. I'm talking of within Ibadan. Within the Jebus, you will have the Remons, you have the whatever. So it's not compulsory that we all agree on anything, but please consult me. Is that okay?
Nigerians who are not consulted. Okay, a thought has been, okay, as much as you do not believe that exists a constitution because the people are not consulted, you want to perhaps avail us of the identity of those that at least put this together. It's of interest.
The 1979 constitution was by 49
The 49 wise men.
Yes. The
58th
58th
person pulled out
person said, I'm not going to be part of this because he knows it's a journey to nowhere.
Who pulled out? Awolowo.
Obafemi Awolowo,
He
Jeremiah.
even pulled that because he was not consulted in the first instance.
I mean, and that's to tell you the whole thing. You want me to come and discuss something as big as Nigerian constitution, you don't even consult me to ask for my opinion. Job for the boys. If I live here now and I receive a letter, come and sit on so panel, our local, it's my turn to chop. Whether I know what they are going to discuss or not does not matter.
Okay, so the Constitution 1999 is regarded as a weak document. Is that why it is seen as a weak document? Because at times you look at it, in some paragraphs, the provisions therein are contradictory. People will ask, how come this 99 Constitution is this, weak, that it cannot just hold water? Is that the reason? Because people are not consulted?
The major reason is this: no matter what you put there, right? So long as people are not consulted, they will have little or no respect for it. No, let's get this straight. This thing is so basic that I still keep wondering why we are dodging it. A group of people carry gun and head it over your head and say, go and write something. And you now issue a decree
Backing it up.
to say this has become your law. Come on.
But we've had, okay, Obasanjo was there for years. I doubt.
I challenge Obasanjo to tell me that he studied that constitution before contesting the election.
He did not even see it before
wait,
sworn in.
If he didn't have that opportunity, he handed over to Yaradua. Jonathan must have seen the fault.
Maybe, let me tell you the truth. Maybe if I find a way of getting myself to become the governor, become minister or something, I won't be discussing this. It's my opportunity to chop. If you hear me say that tomorrow, you will say, Olabi, after 8 years, that's why people are there. It's not because they believe in anything. They know the truth. It's implicit. My friend here is talking now. He said Buhari wanted to do something in NNPC, but he meant another thing. What type of society is that? Your leader, you can't even trust what he's saying.
Malam Latif, referendum. Is it possible for us to have a referendum to renegotiate the unity of this country?
Well, theoretically, it is possible. And if you ask me how are we going to go do it, what is the process? The first thing I will mention is constitutional amendments. That we amend the constitution to include there in the constitution a provision for referendum, which should have been there in
the first place.
And it is in the first
Okay,
place.
so along line this, conversation, the issue is, just as Dickie said, people are not consulted. I mean, the incumbent National Assembly will also get some money to amend that same
constitution.
And so that's the problem now.
You see, when we say people are not consulted, it's basic. We don't even need to discuss that. I remember I was a government teacher in secondary school when I wanted to teach constitution. Even as young as the children were, I'm talking about 10, 12, 13-year-old. So the question they usually ask is that, when you say we the people, who are the people? I mean, even
at that age,
who are the people? I say, okay, your representative. How were they choosing? Did they vote for them?
They ask.
These children will ask you.
An intelligent person will ask
They
this type of
how
question.
did they choose the person? Okay, they nominated, as a teacher, you just have to give them.
You must provide an answer.
Oh, they nominated people. Who nominated them? Your parents, don't disturb me. that is the basic. But the thing is that when you want to have a federalism, it's like I'm trying to divert from the issue of referendum. See, let us leave going separate ways alone. Let us look about the current structure. How do we structure it in a way that everyone will feel included? That inclusiveness is very key, because as it stands now, no one feels to be part of that Nigeria. That is why each time there is that general election, everyone comes with that mindset of our local. In the run up to the election, someone asked me, why do you want to vote for so-so? And I say, he's a Yoruba Muslim, our local. I mean, a lot of people might not be bold enough to say it, but the average Nigerian look at election from that lens, the primordial sentiment. Oh, he's from my religion, he's from my tribe,
from my church.
He's from my church, I'm going to chop. So those are the
friend.
And something informs that. What informs that is that we don't feel as part of the whole structure. So even if we look at the current structure, we need to look at it. How do we ensure that everyone feels as part of the whole structure? Number one is renegotiation. Yeah, you talk about. But when you say renegotiation, a lot of people, public analysts, politicians will say, let us restructure. The question I usually ask when people mention restructure is that, what exactly do you want to restructure? Do you want to restructure the physical structure of the country? Like we go from states to region, is that the problem? Do you want us to go from federalism to confederal system? Is that the problem? Do you want to restructure the fiscal policy? Where the problem is how we share our common wealth. That is the problem. In a proper federalism, federalism that we are trying to borrow from the US, from the UK, from Russia, from the rest of it. In a proper federalism, money flows from the constituent units to the central. But in the case of Nigeria, money flows from the central to the constituent units. Let me give an example. We make 100 naira in Oyo State in a month. The governor of Oyo State will now gather the 100 naira we make from Oyo State and send it to Abuja, which is about 20 hours away if you are traveling by road and 3 hours if you are traveling by air. So the people in Abuja, most of them who might not even know how to get to Ibadan, talk less of Iwerele, talk less of Igana, from Abuja will now say, okay, out of the 100 naira the people of Oyo State have sent, let's send 10 naira back to them. Even if you don't need to have a degree in political science to know that it doesn't make sense. That's number one. Look at the security system. The guy sitting in Abuja will appoint a commissioner of police who was born in either Sokoto or Yola, who has lived all his life in Sokoto.
Does not know the terrain.
I mean, you know, sir, when people say Kogbo Wampai in Yoruba, we now bring that guy to Ibadan to oversee the security architecture in Ibadan. So it's not going to work. So, and I remember reading Benjamin Franklin, the man who built America.
Yes.
Well, I remember reading Benjamin Franklin, and he said, I saw into the future and America as a federal police. He said, federal police is an aberration. He used the word aberration. And these are the fathers of federalism. Say a federal police is an aberration. He went as far as said a national currency is an aberration.
Okay, so
that means the current structure it's never going to work. So we need to come together. And again, before we move away from that, another thing is that in a proper federalism, you must have a time frame embedded in the constitution that would discuss the federalism. I mean, I hear someone saying the Nigerian time frame is 100 years. Probably that's why they came up with the 2014 convent. Look, are we okay with this structure? Or we renegotiate? But we have not been doing that.
Dickin, let's come back to you. Referendum must be conducted. We must negotiate. Everybody must be carried along. How do we achieve that right away? Who do we talk to first? Who takes action first? Who acts first? Who does what? With this present pretentious setting.
If you cannot define it, you cannot find it. The first question you must ask yourself is, are we satisfied with what we are having? To me, and I want to maybe suggest that to majority of Nigerians, they are not satisfied. Now, once you know that you are not satisfied, you then ask yourself, what is wrong?
What is wrong? How do we move away?
Once you are able to identify and define properly what is wrong, you are almost halfway through to finding solution to it. There's quite a lot of deceit. I've told you, I'm being frank with you. You put me there today, even if I want to do something, Latif here as a friend will say, Ologben, it's our turn. So the major thing is we need only one person who is going to face the reality and tell us to our face that, can we please sit down? And if I have my way, I will say the best time was yesterday.
Not even today.
We should have done this. On your program today, I listened to you when somebody was saying, everywhere, every time, yesterday is always better than today. I marveled. People are improving daily. If you are in retrogression, find your own excuse. Don't think everybody is a fool. It's like when we were in secondary school, mathematics is always difficult for quite a lot of people. So when they do maths and say, nobody can get this thing right. And that's what your guy was saying. The problem today is, let's face the reality. Even if Tinubu say good morning as I'm talking to you now, because of his tribe, some people will doubt that what he is saying.
Whether the money
Whether it's money. Whether it's money. Forget about whether good or bad. They want to be sure whether it's not even night. Not because of anything, not because they don't hear English. It's because how can a Yoruba man say good morning and I trust him? Some will come up and say, how can a Hausa man say something? The level of distrust is widening by the day. The more we delay in arresting the drift, the more devastating it's likely going to be.
Can it get worse
Sorry?
Can it get worse?
than this?
It can. Definitely. There's a trajectory. It was bad yesterday.
I mean,
It was today. It can move from
No.
worse to worse.
Okay, so what would that look like?
what will it look like?
That's it. What would it if amidst this complaint where people are protesting because of food?
I've seen somebody describe the amalgamation as the journey to Armageddon. And you know the meaning of Armageddon? It's not going, you are deceiving yourself. It cannot be better if you keep moving in this direction. What will change it?
So
I've told you now, irrespective of your religion, forget about religion. When it comes to Naira and Kobo, forget about religion. The worst person you can trust is the person that is saying Inshallah, by Jesus' name. That guy is only mouthing that.
When money is involved.
Abba, forget it. Particularly in Nigeria. He will forget that. You will find a pastor being so chummy and friendly with a core imam. The gum that is binding them together is called N and K. Naira and Kobo. Alright? The delay is dangerous. So, and maybe I've said this before. I've been on this road since 97, saying the same thing. The next election, we will change the distance. If you change, you are going to get a worse leader. Because the constitution is not there.
So we've been progressively moving from bad to worse.
And unfortunately, the next phase will be worse.
Unless and until
you arrest the drift. Say, thus far, no further.
and that can be achieved through a referendum.
No. It can be achieved through a referendum. All you need
to determine the form of government,
all you need
the structure of government.
All you need to do is this man that is shouting. Okay, so you want Ibadan State. Does everybody in Ibadan want Ibadan? If that's what you want, get it. If Lagelu people say they are not part of Oyo, they want to be part of Osun, they want to be part of Ekiti, so be it. You need to see, even in marriage, where it is decreed that one should submit to the other, you are still told to love before you are talking of submission.
I'm thinking.
How do I see love in this type of a situation?
Could this be the reason why there is usually apathy? In 2023, for instance, we were expecting 91 million people to vote. There is nothing, no matter the level of awareness. Some persons are indifferent. So, is it that the hangover of them not being consulted or their fathers not being consulted is, still very fresh in their memory or something?
I think I'm lucky. I think he was the one with you when you guys were having problem spelling and defining patriotism.
Exactly.
I was listening to you. I am hungry. You are telling me patriotism. When you have crisis is when you will know you have a country. Love is proven when there is trouble.
Why?
That's the normal thing. 9/11 showed America as one.
As one, yes.
September 11,
Yes. 21.
9/11 showed America as one. You do not know the meaning of the more democratic, Republican, whatever. No. They came together to say this is a problem for America. And if it's a problem for America, I am an American, I must solve it.
Okay.
They pulled their resources together to do that. When have you ever seen
Nigerians coming together like that.
An Ibadan man feeling pain that something happened in Sokoto. When have you ever seen an Igbo man feeling sorry that something happened in Lagos?
But our leaders do that. Something, market bonds in Ibadan. Market bonds in Sokoto.
You see other leaders coming to
we go to Sokoto to go and give them money. You can be part of the discourse. 0916 1047 698, 0916 1047 698, 0902 2809 0902 2809 or 0811 052 6487. 0811 052 6487. Those are the studio lines. We've been discussing referendum. And on so far, we are trying to build it up into a situation where we'll give you a proper understanding of it.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
My name is Moses Umukoro.
Mr. Moses Umukoro, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you for this conversation. I'm calling you from October, as is now.
Okay.
I want to please crave the indulgence of our guests in the house to answer the question of that referendum a little bit more deeper. Because you asked a question, how do we get, where do we start from? Who should take lead? Yes, assuming referendum is what we need now. Who will arrange it? Is it the current leaders that we have that we call for the referendum? Is there another arrangement that could go through religion circle, maybe traditional line of action, capital, maybe industry, leaders of the economy and all that? How do we get the people that we put the people together to arrange for the referendum?
Okay.
I want that question to be
answered
addressed well.
Okay.
If we can get that, who takes the lead? Who will arrange the referendum? Should we give these people an idea and the opportunity to say, okay, we allow you to organize the referendum? How do we get that consensus? Please, if we can get this, it will be fine. Another addition is that McPherson constitution that you talked about. Probably we can also go back to it. But who will lead the way in going back to that
McPherson constitution? All right.
Thank
you so much, Mr. Umukoro, for your time on the program. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Hello, morning.
Thank you.
And the beautiful wise men on the program. I am Primate Shitu. Interestingly, I am calling from Ijebu-Igbo in Ogun State.
You're welcome.
I totally concur with the three wise men in the studio this morning. Is it 3 or 5? There are 5 wise men. I totally agree with the 5 wise men. Hello?
You are on, Primate.
I totally agree with the 5 wise men that we have to go for referendum. I totally agree with them. I am not disagreeing with them at all. I concur with them that the referendum is a fact. But I want to put it to them that the constitution I stand to be corrected, to me, is not the problem. And why have I said so? There is no perfect constitution globally. Every constitution globally is open to amendment. The so-called constitution we are calling that is faulty has been amended at about 35% rate. We have been amending and amending. Even if we choose to have a new one today, it will still be open for amendment. So the problem really is the actors. The people that are running the constitution is the problem. Then how do we fix that? Then the referendum you people are clamoring for, which is a fact, how do we ever get it if we don't have facts that will convince the cabal? The cabals are there that will say no. But I asked a question last week, and one of the wise men there has touched that question today again. There is a rumor that there is a constitution or there is a document that says from 1914 to 2014, 100 years, if we cannot continue in this illegal marriage, that we should do something. Is there truly a document like that? If we can push that document out, that will definitely open the road for referendum. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Prime Shitu. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
Fred Yakubu is on the line, sir.
Mr. Fred, welcome, sir.
Yeah, is all about. But I know we soon reach the elastic limit of what is happening in this country. The bourgeois, they have refused to say anything. And I know, as it is said, that capitalism breeds the army of the unemployed. That is what we are having today. Sir, I want to ask you, even in Ibadan here, some tribes, they are more powerful than other tribes. Is it possible for somebody to take Sokoto somewhere and say there's a better line in Sokoto or Kano or Maiduguri that I must get that place to plant my cocoa? Is that possible? And we have lost the oneness of this country. Because this country is supposed to be a beautiful landscape. It has what it takes to rule the world. But unfortunately, the ones at the top, not the bottom, they are frustrating. They what it ought to be.
All right.
Sir, if you go to Maiduguri, you can see even the people, they are called the family of Borno, they are so suppressed. What do we do all over the country?
All right, Mr. Fred.
You mentioned, sir, there are so many things I would have loved to talk, but time may not permit.
Time is not just there.
You remember when the former Midwest left the Western region, what they faced, the agitation that followed. And it was only audience in a man that were given when we left.
Okay,
All
Mr.
right.
Fred.
These are the issues.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Fred, for your time on the program this morning. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
This is Anthony.
Anthony, welcome.
The word referendum should not be scaring these leaders because there is no much to be scared about referendum. It's just opportunity to allow people to have a say about the situation in the government and express their mind and suggest or allow their mind to be heard. Now, my deacon has said it all. We all know that the constitution we are using to run this country is a very faulty one. And we can see where it's leading us. You only create selfish mentality among Nigerian citizens. The deacon has said it all. You only allow that you just go there. This is no man's land. Go there. Once you grab that, you have the opportunity to go there. Make your own, grab your own, make your own money, then fizzle out. So, but how long? To the detriment of the nation. So those who love this country should be calling for the referendum. Those who love it, if you're true Nigeria, you should cry that, look, if you if you're true Nigeria, you should know that things are not working. This system is not working. This constitution is an abuse one. We have to do something.
All right.
If you ask me, what is my mind? What if we say referendum today? What will I put forward? My own is let's go back to the region. Let's go back to the regional system of government. That's what I will lay down.
There should still be a referendum on that.
So,
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Anthony. Hello, good morning.
good morning, Anu.
Thank you.
If it's Bayo now, they record me.
Welcome.
God bless me, sir. This is Bayo.
Bayo, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Deacon. I've told you to bring this man to Rush and Shine. I don't know why. Now, quick one. I want to ask, but me, I don't want to complain. Like what my predecessor already said, that solution. Please, my people in the house, I want to ask, I don't know,
Restructuring?
No.
Plebiscite.
Plebiscite.
God bless you, sir. What is the difference between referendum and structuring? This is number one. Number two, sir. Guinea-Bissau, Equatorial Guinea, and Guinea. Please, that country that fits into three, are they the same or not?
No.
Lastly, I always say this and I always say that. The first caller said it. Please, sir, who are the people that will call us that we should go for restructuring or revolution? Is it the president or the people in the Senate? Or the people over there that ordinary office just from office from Abuja to Ibadan, they are not complaining. Please, who are the people that will organize that? Is it world court? Is it the foreign people? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Now, the calls are coming in, but of course, we need time to attend to some of these questions that have been asked, but we'll pick one or two more. Hello, good morning. All right, welcome, Olusegun.
From Yana Church.
Welcome.
Good morning, the guests and the coordinators. Yoruba will say, let's have it man. The house that was put together in 1940 by Loduga is now collapsing. Why? Because this is every year. This is yesterday, today, and those that are coming tomorrow, they are full of deceit. This time around, bring the conclusions, bring the amendment or whatever of a referendum. Let there be good mind. Let Nigeria have a think of how to make this country forward. This is everywhere. God bless the house.
Thank you so much for your time. Olusegun Taole. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
All right, thank you so much. Welcome.
Yeah, Samson Akintayo from Agro.
Samson Akintayo, you're welcome.
Greetings to everyone in the studio. God bless you. To me, I used to believe in the unity of Nigeria in the past. But for now, I don't think it's a topic to be discussed anymore. If there must be a referendum, like we have discussed, the referendum should be to disunite this country. And that is why we can have our governance closer to us in each region. Thank you.
All right, Samson Akintayo, thank you so much. Dickin and Lateef, you've heard the questions asked by the people and their concerns. Dickin, let's start with you.
I think the major issue is some people wondering who will do the
Who will lead? How do you achieve this?
Is it members of this current National Assembly? The presidency?
If I have my way, I think I've said it here before. Already we have some people, whichever way they got there, at the ends of our affairs.
Yes.
For now, they are in charge. So they are the one to steer us towards referendum. If I have my way, I've been saying it. Let there be a national rebate commission.
That will
organize first referendum, communicate with the people. This country is too beautiful. We are only mismanaging it. It's like you buying a very beautiful white agbada and you give it to a butcher and it takes it
to the abattoir.
You will regret that action when you see that agbada next time. This country is too beautiful. Let there be a consensus of opinion that Hausa man, what do you want? Igbo man, what do you want? And the best way to do that is let there be an independent commission, National Rebate Commission.
National Rebate Commission.
To organize all this.
Okay.
And whatever they come up with, they go to the ward and say, what do you want? They go to the local government and say, what do you want? They go to the state and say, what do you want?
I think we should dedicate an episode to this National Rebate Commission of a thing and then break it down.
Yes.
Femi, if
next week we'll
see. Lateef.
Well, for me, I think we don't have to even put the cat before the horse, or how do they say it? We've identified one of the problems here. One of the problems is that some will say there is a shaky foundation. We've identified today, and we've always identified that there is no foundation. And you cannot.
Not that it is even shaky.
It's not even shaky.
No
And you
foundation.
no foundation. You cannot build on nothing. What we need is that we need a law. That is the constitution. And if you ask even the average Nigeria, you don't need to have degrees, you don't need to speak through your nose like I do, to understand that what we currently have cannot stand. So we have to go back to the basics. So it's not about people sitting at the National Assembly and cherry picking. What we do now, though we have some amendment, but it's cherry picking. Which one favors us? Which one will not favor us? Which one will the people like? Which one? No. We need a total overhaul of the constitution. And how do we do that? The people in the National Assembly, it's their main responsibility. They need to come together and put together a robust committee. Either we are going to call it National Rebirth or which other title they want to give it. And that committee is going to do the work of a constituent assembly.
I think
go around the country, get the opinions, and give us a sound constitution. We are going to call it an amendment, but I think from the beginning to the
Latif,
end,
we have to go.
the National Rebirth
so
Commission
that
will be
will
looked
form the
into.
basis, and by the time we do that, even the current federal structure will be able to get it right.
Okay.
I mean, that will solve a lot of
Latif.
problems.
Latif, we have to go. I know we've agreed that next week we should be talking about the
National Rebirth Commission. Let's even break it down. What is it all about?
What is it all about? What's supposed to do and stuff like that. I guess this is where we'll be calling a wrap on the program this morning. An interesting one, even though we are still building the blocks. We are putting it, laying the foundation, one block after block. We'll get somewhere. We're still trying to answer the question, where are we going from here? And how do we get there? That's been our offering today on the program Insight. Sincere gratitude to our backroom staff, led by Mr. Tunji Tokwe, Godwin, Oseni Sulaiman, and all those who have been there in the production room. We appreciate you so much for doing this job.
Yes, that's what we're going to call it. I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
My name is Adefemi Makwaderun. Do have a pleasant day. God bless you all.